Kola Akinwale did not scream when the handcuffs snapped shut around his wrists. Men like him never did. They smiled. He smiled as the EFCC officers guided him through the narrow hallway of the office complex, past stunned junior staff who had once bowed slightly when he passed. The same men who used to wait for him to speak before sitting now stared openly, unsure whether to look away or memorize the moment. Kola kept his head high. This was not defeat. This was delay. Outside, cameras clicked. Phones rose. Chit-chatting followed him like flies. Isn't that Kola Akinwale? That businessman? I heard something about old deals. Money will settle it. He slid into the back of the patrol vehicle calmly. The door shut, and as the engine pulled away, Kola leaned back and exhaled slowly, eyes half closed. She thinks she has won. Detention stripped Kola down in ways wealth never prepared him for. The cell smelled of sweat, old metal, and despair. Kola sat on the thin mattress, immaculate shirt now wrinkled, shoes dusty. Across from him were two men who did not know him and did not care who he once was. That night, he did not sleep. He replayed every step that led him here. The meeting, the lawyers, Sadia's calm voice, the documents, the way she had looked at him. That was the part that burned. Not the arrest, not the humiliation, the finality. By morning, he had made up his mind. If the system had eaten him, then he would crawl through its belly and tear his way out. Officially, Kola was allowed one phone call. Unofficially, power never truly disappeared. It only changed shape. The guard who escorted him out that morning avoided eye contact. His name badge read Corporal Musa. His hands were clean. His uniform ironed. Kola noticed everything. You have a family? Kola asked casually. Musa hesitated. Yes, sir. Children? 2. Kola nodded slowly. I had children too, he lied easily. Lost them when my life fell apart. Silence. Then softly, how much do you earn here? Musa did not answer. But later that evening, Kola made a call. To Dele Ogun, a man whose name never appeared on documents, but whose fingerprints were everywhere power leaked. Dele answered on the first ring. So, Dele said, she finally did it. Kola replied, she underestimated me. There was a pause. You want out. Kola said, I want time. Dele said, time costs. Kola said, I still have assets. Dele said, frozen. Kola said, not all of them. Another pause. Then a quiet chuckle. All right, we'll talk. Sadia knew the silence would not last. Men like Kola Akinwale did not retreat quietly. They did not accept closed doors or unanswered questions. They believed absence was temporary, resistance was flirtatious, and no was simply delay. Sadia knew freedom arrived quietly, like a door finally closing behind you. She was in her living room when the news of Kola's arrest replayed on TV for the 3rd time that day. She muted it. Tommy sat beside her, eyes wide. You did this, Tommy whispered. Sadia nodded. I finished it. But even as she said it, something in her chest tightened. Not fear, instinct. That night, she dreamt of locked doors opening. She woke before dawn, heart racing, and reached for her phone. 3 missed calls from an unknown number. 1 message. This is not over. She stared at the screen for a long time, then deleted it. 2 weeks passed. Public interest faded, as it always did. Another scandal took over the news cycle. Inside the detention facility, Kola became invisible, and that was exactly what he needed. He learned the routine, learned names, learned weaknesses. Who drank, who gambled, who needed money for hospital bills, who hated their posting. On the 15th day, Corporal Musa approached his cell quietly after lights out. Sir, someone wants to see you. Kola stood without surprise. They met in a storage room. Dele Ogun was not there in person. He never was, but his voice came through the phone.
There's a window. 3 days from now, transfer day. What do I do? Exactly what they tell you.
Transfer day came with rain, heavy, angry rain that blurred vision and slowed movement. Kola was led out with 4 other detainees, hands cuffed, feet chained. At a traffic jam near Ojota, everything happened at once. A delivery truck ahead stalled. A motorcycle crashed behind. Shouts erupted. Then gunshots. Not aimed at the van, just close enough. Chaos swallowed the road. In the confusion, a guard dropped his weapon. Another ran toward the noise. The van door swung open. Hands reached in. Chains snapped. Someone shoved a hoodie over Kola's head. He was pulled into another vehicle. The door slammed and they drove off fast. By the time the sirens began, Kola Akinwale was already gone. The headline broke at dawn. High-profile suspect escapes custody during transfer. Radio stations and the whole social media exploded. Sadia read the headline once, then she sat down slowly. Tommy gasped. He escaped. Sadia nodded. Her hands were steady. Her voice was not. He's coming. Now Kola watched the city from a borrowed apartment window. He had shaved his beard, dyed his hair, changed his walk, but inside he was the same man. He replayed Sadia's face in his mind, the calm finality. She thinks she's untouchable, he muttered. He smiled slowly. By afternoon, her bank called.
Good afternoon, Ma, the voice said politely. We're calling to verify a transaction request. Sadia straightened. Which account? The business account registered under SA Holdings. Her lips pressed together. I didn't authorize anything. There was a pause. We thought so, Ma. The request came with an older mandate. Of course, Kola never attacked directly. He probed first, checking which doors were still unlocked. Freeze the account, Sadia said calmly, and flag any further attempt. Yes, Ma. She hung up and exhaled slowly. By evening, the gossips had started. Tommy noticed it first. You know people in this estate talk, she said carefully, as they sat on Sadia's couch. How? Sadia asked. They were talking about you. Sadia didn't look surprised. What did they say? That you're hiding something, that you used to be married to someone powerful. Sadia smiled faintly. And what did you say? That it's not my business, Tommy replied, but people are curious. Curiosity was never harmless. It was the doorway to judgment, and Kola knew this. 2 days later, the estate chairman requested a meeting. Sadia arrived composed, dressed simply, carrying nothing but a leather folder. The chairman cleared his throat. Madam Sadia, we've received some concerns. About, she asked calmly, your past. She nodded. It exists? A man beside him leaned forward. There are rumors you left your husband under questionable circumstances. Is this a moral tribunal or an estate meeting? The chairman sighed. Your ex-husband has been vocal. There it was. He claims you stole sensitive documents and extorted him. He says your presence here could attract trouble. Sadia opened her folder and slid documents across the table. Police reports, court filings, restraining order requests, medical records. I didn't leave a marriage. I escaped abuse. The men shifted uncomfortably. I pay my dues. I disturb no one. If my abuser feels uncomfortable, knowing I survived, that is not an estate issue. The chairman cleared his throat again. We only wanted clarity. You have it, she replied, standing. Now excuse me. As she walked out, she knew something important had changed. Kola was no longer trying to scare her privately. He was trying to control the narrative. And narratives ruined women faster than fists ever did.
Meanwhile, Sadia didn't run. She didn't hide. She did what she had learned to do best, to prepare. She contacted her lawyers, strengthened her security, moved funds. But Kola did not come for her directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, he initiated with pressure. The next attack came from a place she did not expect. Tunde, he showed up at her gate unannounced, eyes darting, shoulders tense. You said I should disappear, he said quickly. I tried, but he came to me. Sadia closed her eyes briefly. What did you tell him? That I didn't know where you were, Tunde said. But he doesn't believe me. Why would he? She asked coldly. You're standing here now. Tunde swallowed. He offered me money. That got her attention.
For what?
To convince you to meet him privately. He said you'd listen if it came from family. And did you consider it? Tunde hesitated. That hesitation told her everything.
Get out!
I didn't agree.
You just proved I was right to leave. Family is where men like him hunt first.
She shut the gate herself. She had paid Tunde's debt to save him, but he had come back to sell her peace. The next day, one of Sadia's warehouses was audited suddenly. A supplier pulled out without explanation. Each incident alone meant nothing. Together, they formed a pattern. Kola was reminding her, I still exist. Kola believed the chase excited him. What he did not realize was that Sadia had stopped reacting. She was no longer surviving. She was planning an ending. And unlike him, she had learned something crucial during her disappearance. Men like Kola do not fear prison. And this time, she wasn't planning to send him back to custody. She was preparing to strip him of every shadow he could hide in.